Welcome back to another episode of Say Yes to Travel, where I have been talking to travel industry professionals from all around the world and also different verticals on what they've been working on, certainly over the past year, but then also moving forward. And as we kind of embark on this, dare I say, new era of travel, it's really exciting to see how travel's shifting. And I think today's conversation is going to be really, really interesting because we're going to dive deep into the whole world of what we're experiencing with blockchain and travel. So today I've got Luke Kim, who is the head of marketing at D-Travel. Now, for those of you that might not know, D-Travel has actually been described as sort of the blockchain-based Airbnb rival. So they really focus on addressing the sharing economy's trust problem while giving hosts and guests a little bit more control, ownership, and of course, a big thing is lower fees in existing platforms. But I will definitely have Luke dive into all of that in more detail. So without further ado, welcome, Luke. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. This is perfect.
This is great. So I really want to hear a lot about what you're doing with D-Travel because I find it really, really fascinating. And I've dabbled a bit in working with startups and blockchain as well, too. So don't hold back. We could definitely have a high-level conversation. But why don't we bring our listeners up to speed for a little bit? And for an introduction, could you share a little bit more about your background?
Great. Sounds good. So I got started in the travel industry working at Amadeus IT. It's a big company in the south of France. And so that was a great experience in the innovation department. But thereafter, I moved on to work with public sector. So worked with a nonprofit that helped to accelerate cities that are in need of new technologies, much the same way that we might accelerate companies with entrepreneurs, treating mayors as CEOs. Well, in the blockchain realm, most recently, I worked on a pretty successful public token sale that raised about $26 million. Besides that, co-founded the Berkeley Blockchain Accelerator. So it helps research and venture teams from all over the world kind of come to the Silicon Valley and get funding. And also co-invented the public finance economy around the Syracuse token economy, which was one of the earliest forms, if not the earliest form, of a city-level municipal token economy that was conceptualized from the blockchain industry and sort of accepted as a public sector proposal by a city.
Which is pretty awesome. That's so cool that you've been working on that and it's great to see, obviously, like it might not all be travel related, but how it all kind of like intersects as well too.
Yeah, totally.
So, okay, well, why don't we take a moment to kind of like shift a bit and talk about D-Travel, but why don't you tell us a bit about what D-Travel is and then what inspired you to join the team?
So D-Travel, pure and simple, is a home sharing economy for the people, by the people. So that was inspiring to me because I believe in everybody having the right to be paid out for what they're worth. The people who are working hard to make our economy work, being able to benefit off the value of that economy. I believe in those things. So naturally, D-Travel was inspiring and I think should be inspiring to hosts all over the world who are hosting on other platforms right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's great. It really actually makes sense and coincides so well just because, well, first of all, I don't think that we've seen any of this really on like built with blockchain technology before, correct?
Correct.
So this is like really the first time that we're kind of seeing that. And then also, I just think that even the notion of like, if we're understanding this decentralized sort of, the decentralized aspect of blockchain goes, I think, hand in hand with the shared economy. So that's just like for me from an outsider perspective, but I think that it just like really works so well and it makes sense.
Sure. I hear you. And I think conceptually, blockchain has a tendency to make sense, but practically it has a tendency to look like magic. And so before we get into the weeds, all I'll say about this right now is if you imagine an Airbnb where the users themselves are the owners and the controllers of the platform, if you imagine an Airbnb where the hosts have an ability to decide for themselves the policies and fees they feel are fair, and if you imagine an Airbnb where the community treasury, instead of a corporate treasury, is that which allows us to go out and seek contractors to go out and make things right when there are disputes. If we can even hire lawyers to do paperwork through a community vote instead of a corporate shareholder meeting, wouldn't that be a more beautiful way to run a sharing economy? Wouldn't that be more revolutionary than Airbnb?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And then, so also part of it, like when, what I was seeing and doing a little bit of my research, obviously it's, you kind of mentioned that hosts also have lower fees than traditional sites. And then obviously, I mean, I would presume that this is probably passed on to the consumer. How does that how does that work?
Yeah. So an easy way to do right by the people
Yeah, right?
is to pay them more from the economy that they work so hard for.
Yeah.
Travel just assessed that through our calculations, we don't see a need to take as much from guests and hosts as do other platforms. So we simply won't. And as a platform, we will decentralize the organization and the management of who we are so that we don't need a swanky office in San Francisco like Airbnb. And we're not paying a bunch of recent Stanford grads a lot of money to be confused in front of a computer.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I went to Berkeley, so I'm just, ragging on Stanford. But
Oh, we got a little bit of rivalry happening here. No, I get it. No, that's awesome. No, but I mean, that again, that makes sense. That really kind of like ties into that. So would love to hear a little bit more. Well, actually, just so that we have an idea of like the timeline. Like, when did D Travel really kind of like come together?
yeah, so D-Travel is just about a month old at this
Oh
point.
my gosh.
So the history here is that Travella.com is a major company in the travel industry, which has been growing month on month for years, every month. And this company is backed by Binance, which is a major exchange in the world for cryptocurrencies. And Travella.com, you can go in there right now and book yourself travel experiences, travel accommodations, whatever. But the same Genesis team, the same team that conceptualized this from 0 to 1, are many of the same members behind D-Travel. And D-Travel is called D-Travel because it's decentralized travel. It's meant to put power in the hands of the people. And so D-Travel formed up. We launched in the middle of June 2021. At this point, we have about a month, right? So at this point, we have over 200,000 property listings signed up. And we have over 2,000 cities represented in our property listings. And we're only growing from here. We also have major partnerships announced already with luxury property hosts and other property hosts. So everything's going well.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting to have you on at the infancy of this. I mean, this is like legit the beginning. This
It
is
is.
it's exciting.
Yeah, imagine if you could talk to the Airbnb people before they toppled the hotel empires, and
Right?
then the people who will topple the Airbnb home sharing empire. Because truthfully, right now, it's a shareholder economy, not a sharing economy.
Yeah.
You cannot build a sharing economy off the back of a traditionally formed corporation. You have to have a novel model. That's why we use a community owned and governed model, which we call the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization, which means you have the freedom to organize yourselves, and all of you have the power to decide for yourselves.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's so, I mean, it's so great, especially just hearing about how this is like really kind of all come together. So, I mean, how would you say, because obviously, okay, we're talking here, it's July of 2021. We all kind of have like lived through the pandemic, and obviously we know all of us in the travel industry how that has impacted it. So now here you guys are on arguably on the upswing, or like we're getting out of the pandemic, so to speak, depending on where you are in the world. Conversation for another day, but let's just say we're kind of on the other side of that hump. Um, so how do you feel like, because of what's happened in the past year in the travel industry, that's made D Travel sort of prime to launch now? Like, is now the perfect time because of where we are in the state of travel? Does that make sense?
100%. So there are constants and variables. The constants have never changed, which are that more travel ports are opening up around the world every year, and more connections between these travel ports are opened up every year. And technologically, travel technologies have always been getting better year on year. So we will travel more. It's going to become less expensive, more ubiquitous. It's going to become more comfortable and more stylish. Travel is just going to go uphill from now in a big way until it basically blasts off into space. So that's travel. But
Literally,
the,
literally space.
the variable here is of course, the pandemic. And in D Travel's opinion, because the pandemic lasted for the time that it did, and it's currently in the process of being remedied, it's in the process of being healed in humanity across the globe, um, we'll need to see accommodation solutions that are of reasonable cost, that are shared in terms of community interest and community power, and resilient, therefore, no matter what the situation is geopolitically or environmentally. We'll need something like this to be around. So, on one hand, I think in global emergencies or pandemic situations, there's all the more reason why we'll need an ability for people to be able to make a living for themselves on their property, and for governments to be able to seek out places to quarter people that need quartered, to have rooms where we need to house people on emergency bases, and be compensated, of course, fairly. But besides that use case, which is near and dear to all our hearts right now, and vaccination stations and whatnot, you can go on. Besides that, of course, we have pent up demand for people who want to see parents, want to see siblings, want to see loved ones and partners. So we want to satisfy that demand. And frankly speaking, this is the elephant in the room that people don't like addressing, but I think this is not a PR meeting. This is kind of a frank conversation. I think people want to make money, and hosts really want to make money. And if they can just take away the margin from a big corporation and get more of that in their bank, then I think hosts will consider it a no-brainer, so long as Deep Travel can provide the right kind of services and quality.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, and again, I mean, you brought up so many great points with that. I mean, that's what the reality is that people want to be able to make money. And as we saw in the past, let's just say 18 months, people that maybe were making money in more traditional ways, all of a sudden were faced with like the harsh reality that, oh, I can't do that. So how great to be able to provide an additional or a different option that people are able to make money with, in essence, the assets that they have, aka like the space that they have, or whatever it is, depending on their situation. So, I mean, that it really, to me, it makes a lot of sense. So, I'm curious, and I think this is actually a perfect question for you because of your positioning, your position, and obviously your marketing background. So, do you feel that? I mean, obviously, people are certainly hip to like cryptocurrency. Okay. Like we get that there's been ups and downs over the past several years with that. Blockchain, I feel like not everybody's maybe like totally gets it or understands. They might understand keywords. So, do you feel that the everyday traveler is comfortable with the concept of blockchain technology and or even using crypto to pay for travel experiences? And so are they comfortable with that? But then also, how would you maybe explain it to those that might not understand it just yet?
Sure. Well, I would admit that there's not a universal comfort right now around
Yeah,
cryptocurrency.
totally.
And people don't tend to associate cryptocurrency and blockchain in a way that makes sense. But a lot more nowadays than ever before understand that there's some interrelatedness. There's something behind the Bitcoin and Dogecoin hype. There's a technology here. Um, so, I mean, that being said, we saw that the first iPhone didn't come out that long ago, but now it's ubiquitous. We saw that just a handful of years ago, really. Online dating took off, and Tinder was sending uh, these college ambassadors around doing that strategy to go talk to Greek systems and get them on board to date online. And people were like, "Why would you put your face up on a public, on a public online facing
For
app?
somebody to swipe on, like what
You know,
exactly?
what if your professor sees you? What if your brother or sister sees you?" Not too long ago, we couldn't even conceive of the idea of Airbnb. Um, and hotel chains prided themselves on providing the comfort of home elsewhere. You can always walk into a Hilton or a Marriott or something and feel like, this feels like America again. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's a bad idea. At D Travel, we think you should walk into other countries and feel as though you're in a different country. You should walk into homes that are curated by people who want you to have a good experience. and be on the same team, hosts and guests alike, so that there's no exploitation, there's no ill will anywhere in the world, because it's not a corporation trying to guide you into an incentive mechanism where they make money and the stock price goes up. It's a
No,
whole,
I get it.
that determines for itself what it wants.
So, well, so then, okay, then I totally get where you're coming from with that. So how do you guys like explain it to like the everyday consumer, travel consumer? Is that even who you're targeting right now?
Yeah, we're targeting experienced hosts
Okay.
right now and aspiring hosts of properties. We're all travelers. We don't need to target travelers. We all travel. Everyone's a traveler.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And then, so are you finding that these experienced hosts, they're like most of them are, they're like, I get it, I understand, I want to hop on board.
Yes, because experienced hosts need not change a thing to make more money on D travel by paying less to whoever is their third party right now.
That's all. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. So I mean, they're pretty much like already up and running, and so this is just an additional um avenue or an additional platform in which to show their availability, right?
Sort of. Think of the token this way. I'll make it really simple. The token for the grandmas out there and the grandpas out there, the token is a symbol that you are a member of a community called D Travel. And using that token of membership, you can exercise a vote about what policies you want to see, how you think the fee should look, whatever it is you like. You can say, I want to fire the whole team running D Travel. You can propose whatever you like, and you can vote on it. And we entrust that the community sees what's best for itself. And at a level of economic seriousness, which we have, there won't be this sort of shystiness or this sort of underhandedness, because we can actually monitor that stuff. We have a reliable team behind this. And so anyway, that's one. And the other thing is, as a token holder, you're sharing in the value of the network. So you don't get paid in dividends as does a shareholder of stocks. But by holding the D Travel token, well, the tokens could rise in price. They could decline, but you can look at Travella.com, our mother company, and see how their tokens did. I'm just saying, D Travel tokens and any other token, they kind of make you a stakeholder in the growth of the platform if you believe it will grow. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that I mean that totally makes sense, and that certainly, and it's been interesting to just see how it has grown, and certainly within the travel space, as you mentioned before, like it's only growing from here. Like it was growing before, and then to like basically the world was forced to kind of come to a stop in regards to that. So now everybody's chomping at the bit, and it's only going to soar even more. So with that being said, like so what travel trends are you kind of like foreseeing? What do you think like maybe travelers might want more or less of, and maybe even in regards to D travel?
Well, in terms of travel trends, I think we'll be seeing a lot more recreational luxury travel from people who have money, who haven't been able to spend it the way they wanted to. We'll see a lot of recreational travel, especially among youth, who want to catch up to a lot of life experiences that seem currently normalized in social media. Like everybody has to see the Eiffel Tower. No, it used to be
Yeah,
special, but now everybody goes. Uh,
yeah, yeah, I know.
I feel as though we're in a turning point as well, wherein the travel industry understands itself. There's a self-awareness that the old model does not work anymore. Hotels don't work anymore. What are we doing? Down to the last mile of transportation, Uber and Lyft have taken over, Didi as well in China. And so, with the home sharing economy and any sharing economy, extend that to gig economy as well. Uh, we're going to see a paradigm shift, some sort of a change in the way people think about things and the way people want to invest in these things. Um, so, um, I guess on one hand, you can say it's very idealistic. On the other hand, you can look back at the history of how many apps you've downloaded, how many devices you've had, right? How many things that you never noticed, but if you think about it, are new in your life. You can think, how different the world could be in the near future. Because Airbnb in a historic timeline is a baby company as well.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And I mean, you were bringing that up earlier. Everything we're talking about, iPhone to Tinder to Airbnb, and that how it's amazing how it is. I mean, we are very adaptable as humans. That you can introduce something, and if it's convenient and it makes sense, your whole world shifts and changes with it. So and absolutely, we're just going to continue to see those changes. So this is interesting. There's always been, just because I've worked heavily in hospitality, I've dabbled in technology, but I can definitely say there has always been this sort of divide between technology and hospitality, and the people trying to figure out how to make things work a little bit more. So, how do you see this, maybe this gap being bridged, especially considering blockchain technology? Would it be? I mean, I think as you're talking, I might coming up with the answer myself, but as you're talking, it's. I was thinking that. I mean, it kind of goes back to this whole shared economy concept, right? And kind of like putting the power back in the people.
Spot on. We should switch roles. I should interview you.
You're welcome. I just did the interview instead. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. No,
I,
but I mean, I was trying to make sense of it, and that's kind of like what you were talking about a little bit more. But I don't know if you want to elaborate on that anymore.
yeah. So the reason blockchain makes sense for the travel industry, because blockchain allows you to decentralize your financial information and transactions, your data and privacy, and also your membership, which means that you're resilient, you're less easy to take down, and it means that you are direct controllers of whatever platform it is you run. For example, a home sharing economy. And so decentralization makes sense in travel because inherently it's an industry that has to span across our planet, and maybe go into other planets when we can travel other planets. But for now, Earth. And these hosts and guests, these people who run travel businesses and experiences, all the people involved in travel, inherently, you know that this is a group of people, mobile, and that means you need a system that is not catered to one specific city or one specific language base or culture. You need a community that is not incentivized around one specific corporate infrastructure in one specific country, for example, or jurisdiction. You need a company, or an organization or a cooperative, or as we call it, a DAO, which actually encompasses the interests of everybody. And so blockchain is important because with a blockchain based approach, you wouldn't have centralized points of corruption. If Airbnb is corrupt for some reason, then you take down the entire home sharing economy with you because Airbnb was corrupt. If Airbnb makes a mistake, not even corruption, just a mistake, a human error. If Airbnb gets hacked, if it's threatened and overcome, if Airbnb does something that isn't in keeping with some countries' regulations, and it sets precedents and it messes up the whole market for future incoming members. So to have so much regulatory norm and precedent, as well as so much economic value tied to one player in a centralized office space in a certain jurisdiction, that's not a great idea. If you want a global sharing economy, it has to be decentralized.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, and you bring it in to really kind of like tie it into those that might be listening as well. I mean, again, when you just think about everything on that global perspective, on that global scale, and by the time you think of different currencies, different there are so many factors that kind of go into it, that obviously more of this decentralized approach makes sense. So it's very exciting. So with that, what want to hear. I mean, again, I'm still kind of like just so in awe that you guys are in such this infancy stage. It's, to me, it's so exciting. So what what's next for you guys? Like, what's happening? What's D Travel working on that that you can share? So that for those of us that are kind of now hip to what D Travel's doing, what we can look forward to.
Sure. So right now, if you are a host, especially an Airbnb superhost or a multi-property manager, then you can sign up with D Travel and get early adopter rewards. really great rewards, might I add. In the near future, we'll be announcing a cryptocurrency called TRVL, otherwise known as Travel. And this cryptocurrency is going to be issued out to all these early hosts free of charge, and it will denote your membership in our community and your right to have a vote in the way we drive this ship, and to share in the value of our network. Thereafter, we're going to launch a non-fungible token. That's just crypto speak. Forget it. What that means is a VIP membership card. It's just online instead of a physical card we give you. So this VIP membership will entitle you to monthly drawings of rewards like free yachts, mega yachts, free mansions, maybe celebrity second homes, experiences like Coachella and stuff people like. A lot of things, private jets, a lot of things that incentivize you to become a VIP member, let's say. We'll also be announcing news about bookings when bookings are ready. We're targeting kind of like a financial quarter after our launch, but bookings will be coming soon based on which cities reach critical mass of hosts first. Yeah, a lot's happening, a lot's on the roadmap.
That's so much that's happening. Well, that honestly, to me, it's so exciting. I mean, it's great to see. Obviously, you're sort of like parent company as far as like Travala. I spoke to them a couple weeks ago, so it's so great to have you on as well to see this, because I mean, there is obviously it might be under that umbrella, but what you guys are doing it is different. But also very much, yeah, but also very much like within the travel space. So it is, to me, it's just so exciting because this is where it's happening. So for everybody that's listening, when you hear this, fast forward a couple of years and you'll be like, I remember when. And it's going to be happening right here. This is the I remember when moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's make it that way. Let's make it that way.
I love it. I love it. Well, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. So very exciting. For those that are tuning in, where can they go for more information?
More information can be found on dtravel.com. And you can also get more information through our Telegram chat group, which is a great place to talk about what you believe our product should look like, what you believe should be our governing policy, what you believe the host should experience, what you believe the guest should experience. So the Telegram group is where you can discuss things, and anything's fair game, really. In fact, I'm the one who personally replies most of the time, so you're talking to me, really.
Ooh, amazing. So this is the best way to get in touch with you, is to make sure that we hop on that Telegram and then be like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I don't reply to your text, it means you can hit me up on Telegram.
Exactly. There we go. No, I love that. Well, we'll definitely be able to. I'll be sure to share all the links and details in the show notes. But this has definitely been a really great conversation. So thank you so much, Luke. Really love this, and looking forward to all the new things that'll be coming up ahead for not only D-Travel, but also for you as well too. So excited for that.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you for hosting. And I hope all the audience members check us out. If anybody has questions, then just ask it in the Telegram group. And if you want to hit me up, I mean, I'm happy to talk to fans or community members or skeptics even in person.
Love that. Love that.
1v1.
No, perfect. Well, there you have it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully that got you excited about the future of travel. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited to see where things are going to be going in the next couple of years. So that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned, as we will always have another great episode out on Thursdays. And as always, continue to say yes to travel.